the insult that turned to silence. What happens when someone mocks a young man just because of his job, his clothes, or his quiet nature? Jamal, a 17-year-old high school student working evenings at a local bookstore café to support his family, experienced this firsthand. One quiet evening, Jamal was on his break, sitting in the corner, reading a worn copy of Hamlet. Suddenly, a sharply dressed man drinking espresso scoffed loudly. "Shouldn't you be mopping the floor instead of pretending to read that?" The entire cafe fell silent, but Jamal didn't respond with anger. He gently closed the book, stood up, looked the man directly in the eyes, and calmly began to recite. "What a piece of work is man, how noble in reason, how infinite in faculty." By the time he finished the passage, the whole room was captivated. A young man whom many had overlooked had just delivered Shakespeare as though he had walked. The man who mocked him had nothing more to say. This story is about dignity, intelligence, and the power to rise above disrespect. Jamal didn't need a title or a spotlight. He only needed one moment, one truth, and his voice. Never forget, true greatness often walks in humble shoes. Part 2. The World Listens. After that evening, Jamal's story was recorded on video by a stranger and uploaded online. The clip quickly went viral. Thousands commented, praising his depth, his voice, and his calm strength. "This boy belongs on stage. I haven't heard such passion in a long time. Where does Jamal study? Let's support him," people wrote. The next morning, when Jamal arrived at the bookstore, journalists were waiting outside. Despite his shyness, he smiled and said, "I just love books. My mom offered scholarship to study at a respected performing arts academy." "You have a rare gift," the director said. "Don't let it go unseen." Even the man who mocked him returned, lowered his head, and said, "I treated you unfairly. You taught me something. I'm sorry." Jamal simply smiled and replied, "Books teach, not me. But thank you for understanding." From that moment on, Jamal was no longer just a janitor. He was a voice that reached hearts, a symbol of quiet strength and grace. Part 3. The Promise to His Mother. Jamal began his new life at the Performing Arts School. It was a different world. Gone were the mops and buckets. Now his life was filled with music, literature, and discipline. At first, he felt out of place. Most of the students came from wealthy families and had been trained from a young age. "Jamal, this time I'll make it. One day you won't have to cry anymore, Mom." He worked day and night. He studied until sunrise, practiced longer than anyone, and demanded more from himself than anyone else ever had. With every note and every word, he reminded himself why he started. When the end-of-year recital came, 3 students were chosen to perform on stage. Jamal was one of them. The night of the concert, he stepped onto the stage. The hall was silent. Hundreds of eyes were on him. He took a deep breath and sat at the piano. His hands didn't tremble. His heart didn't falter. He didn't just play music, he spoke through it. When the final note faded, the audience rose to their feet in thunderous applause. Some were moved to tears. In the corner of the room, he saw her, his mother. She stood silent. His voice reaches the world. After that unforgettable performance, Jamal's career began to rise. The video of his recital went viral again, this time reaching renowned composers, international music schools, and global organizations. Soon after, he received an invitation to study at a prestigious conservatory in New York City. There, under the guidance of world-class mentors, he began composing original pieces, blending classical emotion with a modern soul. During a quiet moment with his professor, Jamal once said, "I don't want to just reach concert halls. I want to reach hearts. Because I came from a silent one." In 2029, Jamal returned to his hometown. Now a respected composer, pianist, and speaker, he was invited to speak at a youth event. Hundreds gathered, students, parents, teachers. He was invited to speak at a youth event. Hundreds gathered, students. Among you may be someone just like I was, quiet, overlooked, unsure, but inside them is a voice yet to be heard. Never give up. If your heart carries a sound, the world will one day listen. His words inspired the audience. That day, Jamal announced the creation of a special foundation to support children from low-income families in accessing music, literature, and education. Since then, Jamal has traveled the world, performing, teaching, and encouraging youth everywhere. But every time he steps onto a stage, he remembers the boy in the bookstore café, holding a book, heart full of dreams. And in his heart, he repeats the same words. "I'm still that boy. Only now, my voice echoes a little farther."